The situation is simple. We regret we have lost a great player and he wanted to go.
Robin van Persie's move from Arsenal to Manchester United broke the hearts of many of the Gunners' faithful. Not only did Arsenal lose their captain and talisman, but he left to join a long-standing rival.
If Arsenal is not offering you a new deal, you can have along the way, you can have different views about things. But the fact is that Arsenal never offered me a deal.
I'm proud to be here and I am looking forward to achieve big things with Manchester United.
Welcome to Old Trafford, Robin van Persie.
Football is a game of passion, love, and loyalty. But sometimes, the same players who are adored by fans can become the source of the greatest heartbreak. In the case of Robin van Persie, he went from being Arsenal's most beloved star to one of the most hated men in North London. His decision to leave a club that had nurtured him to join their fiercest rivals, Manchester United, shocked the footballing world. But how did it all unfold? This is the story of Robin van Persie's rise to greatness, the troubles in his career, and the moment that changed everything when he swapped Arsenal's red for Manchester United's. Born in Rotterdam, Netherlands in 1983, Robin van Persie's talent was evident from a young age. Raised in a family of artists, his creativity and flair on the pitch was natural extensions of his upbringing. He joined the youth academy at Feyenoord, and this was where his raw talent as a left winger quickly caught the eyes of coaches. But as with many young stars, Van Persie's rise wasn't without its struggles. During his early years at Feyenoord, Van Persie showed glimpses of his brilliance, but was often criticized for his attitude. Known for clashing with coaches and teammates, he struggled with discipline. He was labeled a troublemaker, a hothead, and an incredible talent, but lacking in maturity. Despite these challenges, Van Persie helped Feyenoord win the UEFA Cup in 2002, showcasing his ability on the biggest stage. However, his off-field issues and frequent arguments with management led to his exit from Feyenoord in 2004. This set the stage for one of the most important chapters in his career, the move to Arsenal. In 2004, Arsène Wenger took a gamble on the young Dutchman, signing him for Arsenal for a modest fee of £2.75 million. Van Persie arrived in London as a rough diamond, but Wenger saw potential in him, a player who could evolve into a world-class forward. Initially, Van Persie struggled to break into the first team, especially with the likes of Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp ahead of him, but Wenger's patience and nurturing approach helped him mature as both a player and a person. Over time, Van Persie's technical ability, his vision, and his lethal left foot made him a fan favorite. During his 8 seasons at Arsenal, Van Persie transformed from a young winger into one of the Premier League's deadliest strikers.
What a fantastic goal by Van Persie, who gets his second of the game. Oh, Van Persie, terrific football. Oh, marvellous goal. Lifted up for Van Persie!
His 2011-12 season was spectacular. As Arsenal captain, Van Persie scored 30 league goals and almost single-handedly led the Gunners to a top 4 finish. He won the PFA Player of the Year award and also the Premier League Golden Boot award. But behind the scenes, the trouble was brewing. Arsenal was struggling to compete for a major trophy, and Van Persie, now in the prime of his career, he wanted more. He had been loyal to the club through years of transition and also heartbreak. But as his contract approached its final year, he made a decision that would shatter the hearts of Arsenal fans everywhere. In the summer of 2012, Robin van Persie dropped a bombshell. He announced that he would not be signing a new contract with Arsenal. He claimed that he and the club had a disagreement on the direction that Arsenal was heading.
But the fact is that Arsenal never offered me a deal. So what do you do then? Then you have a look around, then you check if you, because I was ambitious, I still wanted to win the league. The facts, and one of the main issues or facts was that possibly Arsenal got tired of me, or whatever reason they had. With my colleagues, there's like a long process building up to that moment of actually leaving.
Sparking outrage amongst fans, but the real shock came when it was revealed that Robin van Persie was joining Manchester United, one of Arsenal's fiercest rivals. Arsenal fans were furious. How could their captain, their talisman, their hero leave for Manchester United? It wasn't just any club. It was the club that had denied Arsenal so many titles over the years. To make matters worse, Van Persie's departure felt like a betrayal because he had often spoken about his love for Arsenal. The £24 million transfer shocked the entire footballing world. Many believed that Van Persie was chasing trophies, something that Arsenal hadn't delivered in years. But for Van Persie, it was more than just silverware.
He's at a very crucial stage of his career, being 28, 29, want to win trophies. The city of Manchester is the place to be if you're going to try and win something. And I think it's more of a personal choice. I think it comes down to, obviously, I would think nowadays it's about money, but he won't go wrong with going, obviously, to any of those two teams in Manchester.
He was joining forces with Sir Alex Ferguson, a manager who knew how to win and promised him the chance to be part of something special. Van Persie's move to Manchester United turned out to be the perfect decision for his career, at least in the short term. In his very first season at Old Trafford, Van Persie was instrumental in leading United to their 20th league title. His 26 league goals, including some unforgettable moments, like his stunning volley against Aston Villa, clinched the title for United. And Van Persie had finally gotten that Premier League trophy that he craved.
I had to wait for so long for my first title, and it's a great feeling. It's just fantastic with a fantastic team, fantastic players. The managers, trainers, players, physios, medical staff, everyone has been great. So
he also won the Premier League Golden Boot for the second consecutive season, cementing his status as one of the best strikers in the world at that time. For Manchester United fans, Van Persie was a hero. But for Arsenal fans, the pain was unbearable, watching their former captain lift the trophy that had eluded them for so long. However, Van Persie's triumph at United was short-lived. After Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement in 2013, United struggled under new management. Injuries and inconsistent form plagued Van Persie, and he was never able to replicate that magic of his first season. By 2015, Van Persie's time at Manchester United had come to an end. New manager Louis van Gaal, who coached him in the Dutch national team, decided to move in a different direction. Van Persie was sold to Turkish club Fenerbahce, marking the beginning of the decline of this once glittering career. In Turkey, Van Persie had moments of brilliance, but struggled with injuries and form. He was still a valuable player, but he was no longer the world-class striker that had terrorized Premier League defenses. His time at Fenerbahce was largely underwhelming, and by 2018, Van Persie had returned to Feyenoord, the club where it all began for one final chapter. Despite the ups and downs of his club career, Van Persie's time with the Dutch national team was filled with moments of glory. He played a key role in the Netherlands' run to the final of the 2010 World Cup and was part of the squad that finished third in 2014. Van Persie's most iconic moments with the national team came in the 2014 World Cup. During the group stage matches against Spain, his incredible diving header, dubbed the Flying Dutchman, was one of the goals of the tournament and cemented his place in footballing folklore. But just like at club level, Van Persie's international career was marked by inconsistency and injuries. While he ended his career as the Netherlands' all-time top scorer with 50 goals, there was always a sense that he could have achieved more. So, how should we remember Robin van Persie? For Arsenal fans, he will always be remembered as the man who left them at their lowest point. For Manchester United fans, he's the hero who delivered their last Premier League title under Sir Alex Ferguson. But beyond the club's rivalries, Van Persie's legacy is one of immense talent, dazzling moments, and an incredible footballing mind. Yes, he may have left Arsenal for their biggest rival, but Van Persie's career is a reminder that football is, ultimately, a game of ambition. He sought trophies, and for one magical season, he got exactly what he was looking for. Robin van Persie's story is one of both triumph and heartbreak, a tale of a player who reached the pinnacle of English football, but at the cost of his legacy at Arsenal. his move to Manchester United made him a villain in North London. But to footballing fans around the world, he remains one of the most gifted forwards of his generation. So, what do you think? Did Robin van Persie make the best decision for his career to leave Arsenal? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video. Also subscribe to the channel for more footballing content like this. And also, if you want to see a video, then drop your ideas down in the comments below. And remember that we will catch you on the next one.